Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm here to talk to you about health, life, chiropractic, nutrition, exercise. I had a question from one of you guys about plantar fasciitis. So plantar fasciitis is on our feet. So if this is your foot, so I have my hand angled a little bit because we have an arch here. Your plantar fascia attaches from your heel to your toes. And so it's this like fibrous sheath, we're going to say, that coincides with the arches of your feet. So when you're walking, it expands and contracts as we move. So plantar fasciitis, usually people will get pain on their heel when they're walking, and the most common thing that people say is that first step when they get out of bed in the morning is awful, okay? Because you've been sleeping overnight and it gets really stiff and you put your feet on the floor and it doesn't feel very good, okay? So what causes plantar fasciitis? Footwear is a big thing. So if you have problems with your arches, if you have maybe flat feet, or if you have high arches and you do not wear shoes that have a good arch in them to support that, it's going to put a lot of stress on your plantar fascia. So men that wear dress shoes a lot, and women that wear heels, it's very common for them to have plantar fasciitis. Athletes, especially if you're wearing cleats a lot, because cleats do not have much arch support. And I find that athletes that are going through growth spurts are more likely to get plantar fasciitis. The third risk factor for plantar fasciitis is if you are overweight, okay? When you're overweight, it just puts more weight on your feet, just more stress, and your body can't handle it. The other thing, the last thing, is maybe it's a new activity. Somebody that is sedentary decides that they want to start getting in shape, and they go from the couch to running a ton, and the body's just not used to it. So it can be an overuse type of thing, okay? So what can you do about plantar fasciitis? First and foremost, the principles of rice are the best, okay? So rest, ice. My favorite way to ice for plantar fasciitis is if you take a water bottle and fill it up with water and stick it in the freezer. Then you can lay it on the ground and you roll your foot over it, okay? That feels really good and soothing for a lot of people who complain about plantar fasciitis. So we have rest, we have ice, compression, okay? So if you have an ACE bandage or like that sleeve, usually they talk about it for like an ankle sprain, but it's just a compression. It's like a little hug for that plantar fascia so it doesn't have to work as hard. And then elevate, okay? You can get rid of a lot of inflammation just through the principles of rice. On top of that though, stretching. Okay, so with plantar fasciitis, that fascia on the bottom of our foot gets really tight. So I want you to actually stretch two muscles. Well, it's actually three, but we don't have to get technical. So you need to do a calf stretch. So ways that you can stretch your calf would be if you lean up against the wall at an angle and you keep your heel on the ground and you lean into the wall. We always joke about it like it looks like you're trying to like move the wall. That calf stretch. And if anybody has any specific questions, like I don't understand what that stretch is, comment below and I'll post a picture or I can post a link for you. So calf stretches. The other thing is to stretch the bottom of your foot. So if you stand on the steps and hold on to something, please, like the banister, and you drop your heel off the step. So if this is the step and I have my toes on it, I'm going to drop my heel. So you're essentially stretching your foot the way that I'm stretching my hand right there. So we want to stretch both the calf and the bottom of the foot, okay? So we're resting, ice, compression, elevate, calf and bottom of the foot stretches. And the last thing that I want you to do is to take magnesium. For this instance, I would recommend magnesium lactate, because magnesium helps to relax the fibers in our tendons and our ligaments and our muscles. So magnesium will help speed up that healing process and give you a couple more nutrients while your body is trying to process this. So typically, plantar fasciitis is something that can last for months. It can really plague you. It can affect your activities of daily living because you don't want to be moving around. So try these tips. Let me know if you suffer from plantar fasciitis. Let me know if it's helping or not. And we can dive deeper into this if you guys want to. Have a great day, guys.